spirituality.
Yeah.
For instance, do you really believe that, like, you know, Christ was crucified, or that the I can't remember his name, who started the church, actually met the Virgin Mary, or actually met a rebirth of the Virgin Mary, or was it, you know, just someone who had the qualities of the story of the Virgin Mary?
Okay, so there's three questions. Which one's
you know, no, but it's the same thing. Whether like the ontology of Christianity you apply to your school of belief, or whether like that's just a framework.
It doesn't stipulate what you have to believe in. You're not obliged to stand up and say, I believe in God the Father, I believe in this, that, and the other.
I mean, I was speaking to a priest the other day, and he said, every time I preach, it's heresy. Because as soon as you say anything, you're lying.
Yeah.
Mentally, it's something fantastic, and that's that he removed the creed, which is where you say, I believe in resurrection of the flesh and the communion of saints and all this stuff. I write theology at the Occupied Times, which I forgot to plug. I've got a whole bunch of Occupied Times here. Yeah, but I write theology at the Occupied Times. I'm very interested in theology, but don't believe that a troublesome carpenter's son got pinned to a cross. I mean, I don't know if I believe in my yesterday.
Is that something to do with the sign of keep it safe, which allows all of this freedom to true, you know, spirituality?
Yeah, I mean, basically those things are ineffable, and if it helps you to believe in something and to disbelieve in something else, then yeah, it's very difficult to say, I believe in this. The teachings in the songs are about things like brotherly respect and not telling lies and not gossiping and things like that, but it doesn't say you have to believe in blah 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 blah.
And also, he said, someone asked him, they said, why don't you pick up the Bible at the end of the session and preach like people from the other churches do? And he said, I believe in the Bible, but we don't use the Bible here. Our Bible is the hymns, and our teacher is silent.
Where Messenger is coming from was Catholic, but he changed a number of the prayers. For example, the normal Our Father who's in heaven, it says, Venga nos el vosso reino, which means in English, thy kingdom come. So that prayer has been changed to Vamos nos el vosso reino, which means let's go to the kingdom.
A cura, for example, like I had a cura, I had a 3 sessions done for me. I had to go to the guy and say, look, I need a cura, and the guy said, well, your disease is really serious, and you need to get over it and come back. And I said, yeah, okay, I know all that, but I want to do it. If the volition is there from the person, and they've got the determination to do it, and they're going to concentrate, yeah, you can do it.
Does that just imply that the disease is psychosomatic?
Well,
Not psychosomatic, but that's the wrong word to use. It's more the attitude of the person and the mindset with regards to something like disease. Because I mean, in the West, you know, we see ourselves as sick people. We go to others who hold all the information, and we don't actually have ownership over our own body or own health. And actually, the more that we have that attitude.
Isn't that damage support in Western medicine anyway? With eating cancer, so if you've got a more positive attitude to beating cancer, you're much more likely to beat cancer than someone who can't accept, oh, but cancer and will die. So
I met this doctor, I didn't know the doctor at the time. I was telling him about my experience with his disease, and I see 1 in 3 people get better from that anyway. And it could be a placebo. And it's amazing that placebo is something which we're trying to get rid of in medicine, whereas actually placebo is where it's all at. What is it that makes one person get better but 2 people not get better?
More effective than pretty much all the antidepressants they have at the moment.
Isn't it? And that's mine, isn't it? Like I was saying, when I did this cure, once I was convinced I was serious, he said, right now, don't listen to anybody. If someone tells you to go and take injections, get aggressive.
Maybe if like every single person you said was to come say I'm taking care of us, so you have to be like, yeah, okay.
I'd say write to your MP, because at the moment we're banned.
That's right.
I mean, I really hope that we can practice again, and I'm sure we will, but I still don't know what we can do. Yes?
Don't you think that this, like, you have strict slides on your sermons, but don't you think that this limits the experience and specific flows and stand still for hours? Why on ayahuasca?
There's a dance, right? So the women on one side, the men on the other, and the dance goes like this.
But yeah, so you need to move specifically, or stand specifically, or do something specific. Don't you think this limits the spiritual experience?
Well, it directs it, yeah. Direction is a function of limiting. That's the reason we do it. I mean, imagine you want to get messages from a spirit. Imagine that's what you're after. Imagine you picked up the phone and just dialed at random, and you said, hello, what should I do about my crumbling marriage? If you look at Ouija boards or automatic writing, I don't know if you've ever done these kind of things, but automatic writing, you can produce some extraordinary stuff, but I don't know if it's very healthy. I've made myself sick for days by doing automatic writing.
What is that?
It's when you go into a trance and you just write whatever comes out of your arm. So, yeah, I mean, you drink your dose of ayahuasca, you can get in touch with spirits, but although it limits it, it's certainly big enough for me.
Would you do it outside of the ritual?
Me personally, no.
Yeah, I was interested in the double cross or something like that. I was just wondering what's the symbol of that.
It's across the Caravaca. Different people say different things about different stuff. Some people say that the first arm represents suffering, the second represents liberation from suffering. Rebirth.
Like, what do you think on the fairness of it being that the men kind of prepare it in one way, the women do it this way, and then when you have the ceremony, the men stand one side of the room, the women the other. Do you not think it might reflect negative sides of religious attitude?
Good question. It reflects Brazilian society, where it alone. Yeah. I'll give you one example. There's a particular dance which is called the valsa, which is a waltz, right? And it used to be where the men would go and dance with women, and then it got to a stage where people were dancing with each other's wives, and it became complicated. So that stopped, and they went back to their lines, and the valsa is everyone. So I mean, Brazilians are just very horny. For one thing, and ayahuasca is a aphrodisiac. And we have a 3-day before and after no sex taboo. So, I mean, the ritual limits the way that ayahuasca can work with you. It works for me.
I'm interested in relationship between ayahuasca and dreams or the dream state and how it could help one deal with problems that have arisen from things like recurring nightmares, and whether it can help people kind of tackle that specific part of their subconscious rather than something like a problem that's happened in the real world, problems that are happening in the dream.
There's a paper called Seeing with the Eyes Shut by Siddhartha Daime, and he looked at the occipital lobe and found that when your eyes are open, not on ayahuasca, it's buzzing. But when your eyes are closed and you're not on ayahuasca, it's not much going on. If you imagine something, there's going to be a little bit of stuff going on. If you imagine something when you're on ayahuasca, it's buzzing at the same level as if you were with your eyes open on ayahuasca or not on ayahuasca. So it was a study to kind of try and work out how the brain works, not so much how ayahuasca works, but how the brain works. And it was really interesting because he said that we understood the occipital lobe interpret the information that's coming in, and the information comes in through your eyes, in there in the brain. But it appears that actually that's not what this information that comes from the brain, which goes into the occipital lobe and then produces an image. So it's kind of that thing making sense. So in terms of dream imagery and that kind of stuff, it definitely affects the same area. My experience, in the first few days of drinking it at 4 o'clock in the morning, what I did was I'd spend a prayer and then go back to sleep. And then I had the most incredible dreams. It dreamed in colour. And I started to receive my first hymns in the dreams. So yeah, it definitely can work with your dreams. And in fact, the plasticity of it is that it continues to affect your brain, so it's only level for weeks afterwards. So yes, I would say certainly.
What if you took it completely out of context? What if you were just going out and you're like, yeah, that's good. So you're in your normal current situation. You're not in any kind of ceremony or anything like that. But you're just kind of standardly living. Maybe not something like go out, but maybe something like, hey, I might just go with a couple of friends. We're just going to go sit in the park and do some ayahuasca or something like that.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be Santo Daime. Because Santo Daime is a specific ritual which involves ayahuasca produced in a certain specific way. You've probably seen nasty things on YouTube.
Is it not horrifically like being shot out of a cannon? You take it when you're out and about.
No, I wouldn't know, and I don't want to.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so it's not something to do recreationally.
I really wouldn't recommend it. I do believe that ayahuasca is very, 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 very strong. The thing about Santo Daime is it's the trip. You know, even if you're sitting down, the fact that you're there and there's all this discipline around you, you're obliged to work on your stuff. And we've got this decreto service, which is basically the rules. And these rules are read out twice a month in a ceremony called concentration. And one of the rules says, we're not just here to see beautiful things, but to correct our errors. It can be like holding a mirror up to your face like this and doing the black thing. do all the information. And you might think, oh my God, I thought I was doing that, but actually I was doing
Got time for one last one.
Yeah, it's sort of about how regimented it is, the rules. Is this just sort of for everyone's security? Because if I was to start doing ayahuasca, I'd want to be comfortable, same as with any other drug. If I wanted to walk around outside, I'd want to be able to do that, or like roll around on the ground. I wouldn't want to feel like, confined, like you said. If someone sits down, it kind of changes the mood.
Well, there's two.
Be comfortable.
Well, there's two things, right? There's the people who have their stars, and that means that they want to form part of that thing. So it's not like the new people have to stand up. The new people should be totally free to do whatever they like, not whatever they like. It's very, 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 very strong. You go in on the understanding that you're going to be there until the end. And I can totally understand why you've got some freedom. And you do have a freedom. When the break happens, they say, already formed, which means you can relax now. You relax, and you might go down to sleep, and you can go to start stuff, and then an hour later it starts again. But this is how we do it. And I can totally understand where you're coming from. But where I'm coming from, having done it for 10 years, and seeing how extraordinarily powerful it is, I think it's actually a really good idea. You can't just go wandering on.
Well, there's also the other side. Some people find that you're reacting to the structure as something that's sort of anxiety developing, but for a lot of people that actually creates the comfort for people, so that just sort of, I'm flipping out now, what am I doing? But there's like, okay, it's going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, and there's all these people looking after you. That develops the safety and the comfort that you're actually talking about as well.
And there's this question of freedom and order. If you are free from a rule, if that makes any sense, then you have a degree of freedom. You really can't, for 6 hours, stay in one spot. How free are you?